Hi. Yesterday, while addressing the South Gujarat HRD network, I talked about the new performance management system. I proposed a role set based performance management system, which should include role set based or stakeholder based performance planning, performance conversations, or performance review discussions, and performance recognition. I would like to explain here a little more about the concepts that I tried to propagate yesterday. First, it is very important to understand the context in which we are talking of a new performance management system. The most important context is our understanding of human beings and why they work. I start with the assumption human beings or people come to work to feel significant, not because they just want to get their salary or they want to get their incentives. By assuming that people come to work only for rewards and incentives, we are reducing and rather insulting a human being and look as though that he is interested in a 10%, 20% increments in salaries, and which is a great reward. Research has demonstrated excessive promotion of extrinsic rewards makes people get distracted to work only for rewards rather than working for enjoyment. So I want to begin with the assumption that people really come to work because they want to feel significant, they want to make a difference, they want to contribute. At least that is the way we treat. Salary is important component of it, but salary is taken for granted once a person is employed. They don't work anymore for salary because it is taken for granted, it comes there. Number two, very important assumption, human beings are possibilities. Number three, by over focusing on performance ratings, etc., we are reducing the entire year's work of an individual to a number. And these numbers can never be comparable. It is very difficult to compare. And this is the best way to in a way insult the human being to say that you are a number and you can be compared with anyone. I think human beings are human beings are possibilities. So these are some of the assumptions I think we need to start with. I would also want to propose that KRAs, KPAs, targets, KPIs, key performance areas, key result areas, key performance indicators, etc., by now has become a part of life. Everyone knows this. And therefore, there is no need to say that performance management should be based on KPIs, etc. I want to go a step ahead and say that most often we really have not identified the contributions of an individual, and KPIs and KPAs, KRAs, etc. camouflage a lot of the real work done by an individual. I would like to maintain that it is very important for an individual to account for the time he or she spends. In a day, you have about 8 to 10 hours of work. In a week, if you are doing a 5-day week, about 40 to 50 hours of work you are putting in. In 50 weeks, you are putting in about 2000 to 2500 hours of work for the organization. Whatever is the norm that you have, it may be a little less or a little more. It is very important for every human being to feel significant at the end of the day if the person is able to accomplish something which is more than what he or she has done yesterday, better than what he or she has done yesterday, and different than what he or she has done yesterday. So every day you should be adding a little more value than the day before. I think when you leave back home in the evening or you work from home, you close your day with a feeling that I made some difference. I contributed something and it helped somebody, maybe a customer in a distant place or a supplier or somebody else for a better living, a better service, a better income, a better quality of life, etc. I think you made your day. It's a great thing to leave the work setting with that particular kind of a feeling. Now, that is what performance management is about. Performance management should help us to feel different, contributed, feel satisfied by the end of the day. So, when you do that, it happens day by day, week by week, month by month. You don't really worry about whether you are getting a paltry 10% or 15% increment or not, because these become paltry. And organizations have good mechanism to take care of the cost of living by giving whatever is due to you. And if you have done such a wonderful job and made a difference to the company cannot ignore for too long your contributions. They are bound to come back and have a relook at, if necessary, your salaries, or more importantly, to ask and check with you how, in what way the company can make a difference to you, because you made a difference to the company and to a whole lot of people. So, friends, I think we are downgrading the human being by reducing the performance appraisal, performance management to only annual increments, annual rewards, and even training and development. Now, today in the world, people are able to take care of their own kind of a training and development and so on. Therefore, the need for the new performance management system. In this new performance management system, I want to propose that performance plans should be made on the basis of discussions, or at least an understanding of all the role set members. We have proposed at TVRLS Learning Systems earlier a role set based competency mapping exercise, where we mastered in the last 20 to 25 years the art and science of building competencies, identifying competencies by talking to the role set members of each role holder. Role set is those or consists of all the people who have expectations from you and to whom you have obligations. Now, who are all the people? These people normally are your senior or your boss, sometimes your boss in parlor of performance appraisals called as reporting and reviewing officers. I would prefer not to use those terms and use the term your seniors, and your direct reports or indirect reports who report to them, who have expectations from you, your internal customers and suppliers, which includes maybe colleagues from other kind of a departments and so on. And certainly, I think every top level manager, the board, the shareholders, etc., also have, they may not have direct expectations from you, but there are indirect expectations that you will do a good job, you will do a job with speed, and you will contribute in quality and things of that kind. So, your role set based members are those who have, with whom you have direct linkages and who have expectations from you, and these are the people who contribute to identifying your activities as a part of your KRAs, KPIs, and so on. Activities are those which are observable, which fill your time, and you account for your 8 hours a day or 40 to 50 hours a week. I think this is all can be planned. So when you prepare your activity plan or performance plan, you are taking into consideration the inputs from all these role set holders. Another term that is often used is stakeholders. The stakeholder concept is very well demonstrated for HR people. HR people quite often ignore that they have a large number of stakeholders. I normally say, I have in fact put up some of my videos to say the most important stakeholder for every employee is he himself or she herself, because you have to take care of your health. If you don't take care of your health, yourself, your both mental health, intellectual health, your spiritual health, your physical health, and things like that, you won't be able to contribute. So you are the first stakeholder for yourself. You have to take care. Your family is the next big stakeholder, because they empower you. They give you all the psychological energies that are required for you to function. The third stakeholder is your boss, who matters quite a lot. And the fourth stakeholder are a set of people who report to you, your direct reports, and those who depend on your direct reports, the indirect reports. The fifth set is your colleagues. Not everyone has a lot of internal customers, but you can identify who are your internal customers. For HR guys, all the other departments, whether it is finance, quality, industrial engineering, or whatever departments you talk of, production, marketing, they are all your internal customers, people with whom you have relationships and so on. When you talk to these people, they share with your expectations, and you incorporate these in terms of identifying your activities, which may fall into one or the other kind of a KRA or KPA. So that is a good way to plan your performance. You don't need to have daily meetings with everyone. With your external customers, in order to understand what is the impact of whatever you are producing on your external customers, it is good to have once in a while. It could be, if you are very distantly related to the external customers, once in a year or maybe once in 6 months. Take some time off, go and meet the people who are using your products and services, check with them and see how the product services you are producing are being utilized. It will give you a lot of insights into your work, your other people's work, and it will help you to plan your own kind of a performance far better. Similar way, you can go to meet your once in maybe a fortnight or a month, once in a quarter, meet your internal customers who are the other departments who depend on you. Take their views and incorporate into your performance plan. It will give you a lot of insights. Same way, you keep talking maybe every day or maybe once a week with your juniors, and that will give you a lot of insights. And with your boss, again, you frequency you decide. Whatever you decide. So when you take this perspective all through the year, what you are doing is you are constantly in touch with one or the other stakeholder or one or the other role set member, and incorporating this into your activities, constantly reviewing your activities, replanning your activities, and in addition, having performance conversations where you get to know their feelings about your inputs, and you get to know their views and their expectations from you. So friends, I think you can plan your performance using your activities, listing your activities as a part of whatever KRA, KPI it belongs, and identifying how well you can perform and incorporating into your plan the expectations from your role set based members or the stakeholders and so on. So that will put you into a totally different kind of orbit. The same way, I would recommend once in a while, when you want to get a performance feedback, don't only limit it to your boss. I think boss is certainly important. You should be constantly having dialogues with him or her to find out their expectations and expectation gaps and constantly keep managing this. You should also do that with your juniors. But it's a good idea to have once in a while conversations with other people, and these I call them as performance conversations. You decide the time. But when you do all this, what happens to you is that your life is filled with a lot of activities. Suddenly you start realizing that there are a lot of things that you are doing every day. The daily meetings you have, the monthly meetings, the weekly meetings, the quarterly meetings, the budgeting sessions, the discussions you have, everything that you are doing from the time you say go to office till the time you return from office, you are performing. I think this is what needs to be realized. You are practically a 24/7 performer. Even while sleeping, sometimes you start dreaming about your work and things of that kind. So when you reach this particular level, you start enjoying work. You don't ask stupid questions like when is my next increment due, am I going to be get promoted, etc., etc. These all become immaterial in terms of this. So that is what is the new performance management system that I like to talk of. And in this process, I also recommended to forget about ratings. Do not have ratings. Have more of ratingless appraisals. Because as long as other people appraise you and put a number, they are filled with subjectivity, they are reducing to a number which is not desirable. I think we should treat human beings as human beings, not as numbers and so on. And let me tell you, many people ask me and argue that what happens to my targets. I want to tell most of the managers, are you really setting any great targets for yourself? Many companies I have examined, I found the same KRAs, KPIs is getting repeated from a president to a junior level manager. Only thing is it divides into a number. So most supervisors and managers are kidding themselves when they say I am setting targets. Your targets are not your targets. Your targets are largely the targets of either your salespeople or the production people or the quality people or the other people who are really doing the grassroots level work. Your targets, you are only kidding by putting somebody else. Your target should be defined in terms of how you make a difference. How are you supporting your juniors? How are you supporting your colleagues? How are you supporting your seniors? I hope you get enough from this, and I want to wish you all the best. Adopt this new performance management system and emerge out as a successful executive who made a difference in the lives of others.